So before going into the presentation, first let me tell you what we will be seeing on this today on the in this presentation. Right. First, we will be seeing what is cost control, what is the cost management, what is the cycle of this cost management. Then we will be seeing what are the current challenges that are faced by construction industry. Uh, then we will see what is cost control solutions, what they are using, how they are doing now, and how you can leverage Primavera solutions to automate your cost control process as well as your project related process, and how can you get visibility into your project financial health as well as your project's estimates and forecast as well. So coming to cost management, the cost management includes process such as your estimation, your budgeting, your finance, your cost control, controlling your cost, right? So it starts from estimating, then your cost, then your budgeting. Budgeting will have your budgets, budget changes, budget transfers in the controls, as well as your contracts, your POs, your invoices and payments, right? These are all part of our cost management. But normally when we talk about cost management in construction industry, currently most of them they'll be saying they are using ERPs, or they will be using P6. But when you take P6, in P6 we are not doing cost management. We are only doing the resource cost. We are allocating the resource, we are getting the cost, and we are assigning the actuals, and we are getting the actual cost. That's it. Apart from that, all other cost related process such as issuing purchase orders or contracts, invoices against these contracts, as well as your payments for these invoices, everything is tracked outside of P6, not in P6, right? In P6 we are managing our resource cost, and it is very difficult for sometimes to manage cost in P6 for hundreds of or thousands of activities. Coming to the project cost management, we have our first will be our planned cost management. So first we need to, or each organization need to identify how they will determine their cost, whether how they will be estimating the cost, what are the tools they will be using, how they will be managing their budgets, right? How they will be monitoring these budgets and capturing the actuals, and controlling the changes that will be happening across the project. Then your estimate costs. So for getting a clear correct budget, we need to have correct estimation tools. So once we have the proper estimation tools, we can estimate what are the resources, what are the efforts that are required to complete that project. Then based on our estimates, we will determine our budget, and we will agree upon with our stakeholders the total budget of the project. Then controlling the cost. So once you have determined the budget, now once you start the project, we will be accumulating the actuals, right? Once we start accumulating the actuals, we need to identify how we are doing in terms of cost, whether what is the budget versus actuals, what is cost overruns, for how it is happening, what is our forecast, and how the changes are happening in your project. Then this is cost control data flow diagram from PMI. So for cost control process, the inputs are project management plan, where cost management plan, cost baseline, project documents, lessons learned, then your determined budget, as well as work performance and organizational assets. So then as an output, we will get our work performance information. So we will monitor how we are performing our work, what is the cost impact that it has on our projects, as well as we have to have an integrated change control system, where we will discuss on the change control in detail. And we need to update our project management plan, such as our cost management plan, with actuals that we are incurring during the project, right? As well as based on our actuals, what will be our forecast for the upcoming months or upcoming duration of the project. Then we'll update the project documents, such as basis of estimation, cost estimation, and lessons learned registry. The cost control cycle diagram. So like I was telling, first step is identifying resources. So resource planning. So first once we get the project, we'll be breaking down into work breakdown structure, then into activities. Then we will be identifying what are the resources that are required for your project. Then based on our prices for these resources and efforts, we will be estimating what will be the cost of this project. Then cost budgeting. Once we have our estimates, then we might be keeping some contingencies for these costs, as well as if you are a general contractor, you are submitting a quote to a to to a owner, then you will be adding your project your project cost also, and profit margins also. Then you will have, once we have our budget, then comes the cost control. So you have your budget, then you want to control the cost to complete the project within that budget, right? So for controlling the cost, we need to identify all the changes that will be happening in the project. We know that in construction project, the changes are inevitable. So we have to have the we will have many changes coming within the duration of our project. And the cost control uh, is very important. We need to plan on the process, how we are capturing our actuals, how we are issuing our contracts, how we are issuing our POs, and how we are tracking the invoices against these POs and contracts, right? And also, what is the current project health, what is budget versus actual, and when we have integrated cost and schedule, how this cost or changes are impacting my schedule, right? So all these things, the controls, the change control, everything needs to come in the cost control. So then we'll be able to complete our project within budget and within time. So, what are the current challenges that are faced in construction industries related to cost control? So, multiple versions of truth. So, when you have uh, your project manager will have an Excel, your project scheduler will have an Excel, your purchasing department will have a different Excel, right? So everyone will have their own data, and everyone will be relying on their own data and keep on for keeping it updated. And this is very prone to human errors, and there are multiple versions of truth. Let's say there is a change order that is coming in, that is sent through an email, and the project controller missed that email, and he will not be able to update that in his data or in his sheet. Then when we see what is the project financial health, a project manager will have a different values, or his budget versus actuals, and your cost controller will have different versions. So there will be multiple versions of truth. Uh, then your disconnected schedule and cost. So your schedule is generally managed in Primavera, and your cost is generally managed in your cost control solution. So when you are having to, when you don't have integrated project cost control solution, you will not be able to track uh, you will not be able to track any cost or schedule impact that might be happening because of any changes that might be coming in. Then inconsistent standards, inefficient systems and process. So most of the times we will not have any systems in place to perform this cost control, and also we don't design our process beforehand until we face any challenges. So there are ineffective systems, based on ineffective systems and ineffective process, we will have our schedule and cost overruns. Because of this, we will not be able to identify what is our forecast, right? And ineffective change management. So without cost control solution, you will not be able to manage your changes, which is very important in cost control solution. Effective um, effective budgeting and forecasting over timeline, then your time and effort involved with reporting. So like I was telling, since you have multiple versions of truth, what happens to prepare a report by the MIS team, they will need to rely on so many people to get their data from, and there will be a lot of time and effort following up on the data that is coming from different people, different departments, as well as there will be a lot of human errors that will be happening. And for generating a report, people need to spend more time and effort on the preparing the reports. And getting progress data from multiple subcontractors. This is also a very big challenge in current construction industry, right? Then change management across your project. Like I was talking, the change management is very important in cost control, right? So the change management comes from change management is nothing but your PO amendments, your contract change orders, your variation orders, right, and your schedule changes. These are all the different changes that will be happening in your project. So first, we need to identify how these changes are affecting our cost as well as schedule. And to manage your changes effectively, we have the different challenges, right, for aligning data. So like I was telling, if you have different people having different data, and one person needs to consolidate all these data, so he needs to put in a lot of time and effort by the time the change order has been processed or approved, right? So we need to have aligned data as well as integrating cost and schedule, which is very important, where you need to, based on the change that is happening, what is the cost impact, what is the schedule impact. All we need to identify all these things, uh, all these things in a project cost control solution, right? Then managing the change. So if there is a change, how you are going to manage it, whether you are going to directly approve the change, or how we are going to manage the change. We need to identify that. Then disconnected environment. So all your applications are disconnected, and you don't have a consolidated report or visibility into your project, right? To effectively manage your changes across project, we need to weigh in the project change against the entire project and what impact that it has on your project, as well as track the change origins. So where is this change coming from? Why is this change coming? Whether we have done, if it is budget change, why this budget change is coming? Did we do any mistake during the estimation part, right? And we need to identify what is the reason we are getting this change. And we need a strong solution to manage these impacts that it has on cost and schedule. For to identify and manage these impacts, we need to have a strong solution in place where you can track all these changes as well as manage these changes, right? So only when you have the ability to track and manage the change, only then you will identify if there is any mistake or any mistake that happened during the estimation. We need to identify why this happened, what is the reason this happened. Then we need to make it as lessons learned. Then we need to apply these lessons learned in your future project, so that you will have your better project budget outlook, right? And you will be able to complete your project without any budget changes. So we need to keep track of all these changes, and also we also the lessons learned from these changes when you're managing these changes. Then the system should be robust and flexible enough to support multiple projects, right? So this is how we can effectively manage changes across your projects. So coming to project control solution, right? So when we talk about project control solution is part of people's process technology system that provide operational project implementation of project related business process that work with other systems as well as, such as your supply chain, HR and finance, etc., right? So the project control solution is this uh, part of the people, process and technology system, right? So when we have a project control solution, it should be able to perform or automate these processes which we have listed here, such as planning, scheduling, estimates, budgets, actuals, contractor subcontract relationships, RFIs, requests, change orders, then work authorization, submittals, transmittals, design and other documents, risk issues, track communication such as minutes, actions, right? And collecting progress reports on daily basis, reviewing these daily, weekly reports from contractors, subcontractors, as well as publishing this data to so that it will be available for project manager, portfolio manager, and program manager, right? So to know uh, what is the visibility of your project. And you will have so many other process that you will be wanting in your project control solution, right? So currently the project control solution is being in construction industry. They are using ERP systems and spreadsheets and home built database systems, right? ERP systems are very are very good at your financials, your account payable, account receivable, your general ledger, supply chain, inventory management, HR. So these are all it is very good at all these things, but it is not an optimized tool for your project management and controls tool, right? So a project engineer or cannot go into an ERP and create purchase orders, because the purchasing will be taken care by purchase department, right? The finance invoices and payments will be taken care by finance department. So when you don't have access, these ERP systems are not optimized to project management and control system. And the the spreadsheet and home built database system. So project controllers work to create the systems. If there are any big projects, they will be able to create some small solutions to be used for these projects, as well as they will have an Excel sheet or the spreadsheets what they will be using to track all the changes happening, and they need to update manually every day everything. And the access of this spreadsheet is a problem, as well as updating. They are prone to human errors, and if there is some issue with the Excel sheet, all the data will be lost, right? And this is only accessed by the project controllers. These are owned and run by project controllers, and these are not scalable for multiple projects. So if you have, let's say that you are having multiple projects that are running, you need to have different spreadsheet that will be available for different people, and you cannot consolidate these, and you cannot get the report, and there is lot of manual work that needs to be done to able to generate a report from these spreadsheets, right? And ERP systems, one more thing I want to say is, so when you have ERP system, the different process are managed, which they are very good for the enterprise version, but they are not good for project controls, right? We cannot track project controls using ERPs. They can be done at up to some extent. So, to address this issue, what we need to do, we need to modernize our project control solution, right? So we need a system which can plan, where you can plan, analyze, and track the changes, where you can control it. So for modernizing controls, you have to automate as much as you can. All the process I have shown you, so we have to automate as much as we can. So project controls, cost controls, and project controls is not only uh, is not only your uh, is not only uh, your cost management. Apart from that, you also have your project delivery management also in place. So we need to automate all these features as well. Then use configurable solution to manage process information across the project lifecycle, right? So each project is unique. Every project has their own challenges and their own merits, right? So we need to and these projects, each unique project will have different requirements. So these systems what we are implementing or what we are adopting should be configurable, right? So that it can accommodate future changes as well. When a company is maturing, when they are improving their process, this system should be configurable enough to address those requirements that are coming in future, and implement open solution that connects to other system for project-wide insights, right? So it should be connected to other systems as well. Today's solutions are more complete and user-friendly. What we can expect from the modernized project control solution is instant visibility into project status and health, project-wide access to right information by the right people at the right time, an integrated system on a single platform to understand how scope and changes impact project cost, right? So these are the benefits that we will be getting when we modernize our project cost control solutions. So coming to Primavera cost control solution. So now we will see how you can leverage your Primavera. I leverage Primavera cost control solution to do your cost controls effectively, track all the changes, get insights and project visibility into your project. So we are talking about Primavera Unifier project control solution, where it is a completely configurable platform where you can digitalize and automate all your project related business process, and you can create your own business process based on your project requirements as well as your organization requirements. And this has it also has your uh, portfolio management. We can do portfolio management, you can do your contracts, project cost control, bid procurement management, and value management, device design coordination, and document management. So all these things can be done using Primavera Unifier project cost controls, right? So integrated project management solution. So when we talk about Primavera, this is an integrated cost control solution where you have project financials that will become that where you can track all your cost, budgets, estimates, forecast, everything can be tracked. Your contract management is procurement. You can manage your procurement, contract design, and cost control, schedule management, resource management, document management, reports. We can generate multiple reports and alerts, as well as we can integrate this easily with your ERP, as well as it also has mobile devices where when you assign certain tasks to certain people, they can use their mobile devices to update the task status back from the site. So how we are managing or how we are controlling the cost in Unifier. So in Unifier, we have a rules engine, right? So for example, these rules engines can be customized, and these engine can be configured according to any organization or any project requirements. Let me take an example here. We have a budget, we have commitment is nothing but your POs and contracts that you will be issuing throughout the project, as well as your spends is nothing but your invoices, uh, and disbursement means your payments, what you made against these invoices. So we have a we can create, we have the basic rules such as these commitments cannot be greater than, commitment is nothing, your POs and contract cannot be greater than your budgeted value, and your spends, your invoices cannot be greater than your commitments, then your payments cannot be greater than your invoices, right? This kind of rule engine will be available, and this allows you to control all your cost. So even though they exceed some of the cost, they want to create more PO, or they want to do any PO amendment against a specific budget goal, they will not be able to do it because system will not allow them. They need to go for a budget change. Then the project manager will know, okay, so they have already exceeded the budget, so what is the reason for this? So they can record and inquire what is the reason for changing the budget, as well as they can track all these changes using the budget changes, right? Coming to budget management, here we have initial budget. Initial budget is where the estimations that will be coming. Based on the estimation, we'll create our budget against the cost codes, right? And uh, this budget will be sent to an approval through a workflow. These workflows are completely configurable according to organization requirement, right? So you can configure these workflows, such as, let's say that if it is up to 5 million, your finance manager can approve. If it is 10 million, then they need to go to the CFO level. If it is more than 15 million, then it need to be go to CEO. So we can build in all these kind of conditions into the workflows, as well as based on who is submitting these budgets. We can also uh, route the workflows. We can have the different workflows as well, right? Then let's say that there are some capital projects that might be coming in. There are based on the project type also, we can change the workflows. So once your initial budget is approved, and then there is some you require additional budget, then you need to go for budget change. You need to add the budget, or you want to add a new budget to a new budget code. So you use budget changes to track all the budget changes that are happening in your project, as well as your budget transfers. Let's say you have identified risks. Based on the risk analysis, uh, you have estimated some contingency budget. When these risk occurs, you want to utilize that contingency budget. But when you have contingency budget, instead of simply issuing purchase orders, you can transfer this contingency budget to appropriate cost code where it is required, and then you can use that budget for the risk, right? So when you track all these budget changes, transfer all these things, you will get a you can see complete visibility into your project. Then your contract management, procurement, and change management. So you can do your purchase orders, contracts, PO amendment, change orders, invoices, payments. Everything can be done from Unifier itself. No need to go send it to. When we integrate this Unifier with your existing ERP, so once the any project related purchase order is created, so first it will be get approved with it by the project team. Once everything is completed, once it is completely approved, then it will be directly created in your ERP, so that your finance team will directly process it, instead of having the manual process of asking for certain items, sending it to them, and asking them to create a purchase order. We can automate this process. And also, in by automating this process, you can also automate the workflow that is related to this process. And also, if once you create a purchase order, you can see what is the line items. If there are any amendments, PO amendments that happen, you can check what is the PO amendments. And also, if there are any approved amendments, you can see them. And if there are any invoices against this PO, you can see everything from a single page. Instead of going to your purchase department and asking for a report, you can see it from a single place, and you can manage and track all your changes against your project cost, right? Then cost sheet. Cost sheet gives you complete visibility. Uh, Cost sheet gives you complete visibility into your project financial health, where it will roll up all the project cost what you have recorded, such as what is your original budget, what is the changes, what is your current budget, what are the total commitments for this cost code, as well as so as well as your invoices. All these things will, what is your remaining budget, you can see everything related to your project financials from a single page, which is cost sheet. So cost sheet is based on your cost breakdown structure. So we know that if you want to break, so cost breakdown structure is nothing but grouping of your cost. So let's say you have earthworks, concrete, steel, right? Cement. So these are all different categories, different cost codes that you might have in your cost sheet, right? So when you group your cost with based on your cost sheets, based on your requirements, then you can track this cost. So if you want to track this, you cannot do that against the WBS, because the WBS will be based on the activities. So you will have, let's say you have a multi-story building, you will have store floor 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. But every floor you will be using your concrete, your cement, your bricks, everything. But you want to see what is the total cost of this concrete that you are using. You will not be able to do that, right? Here you can track everything. What is the cost? Why, how much I have used against this cost code? So to whom I am issuing this PO, and everything can be tracked from this cost sheet. Then cash flow. So based on when we integrate Unifier with your P6 and bring the schedule, we can create schedule in Unifier itself. Uh, Unifier itself. Uh, Unifier itself, but when we integrate with your Primavera P6, then we can get cash flows similar to this. Lastly, the project delivery. Apart from cost control, we have two major features in Unifier. One is project cost control. Second one is project delivery, where in project delivery you can automate your business process such as submittals, transmittals, action items, RFIs, incident risk reports, and daily reports. All these things can be lessons learned, project closeout information. Everything can be configured or automated in Unifier, right? So now let us move to the live application and see how this Unifier works. So this is the login screen of the Unifier. Okay. So once I log in, I have two workspaces. One is company workspace and another one is project workspace. Company workspace is where we will be seeing, or where we'll be managing company related business process, right? So when you go to company related business process, such as so you want to see cost sheet or at company level, you want to see how what is happening in all your projects, you can see that in company level. Or you want to see funding at company level, you can see funding at company level. Or if there are any company level documents, you can store them here in the company level document manager. Okay. Then when you want to create a new project, you can create a new project using this business process company request. Then if you have any vendor, you want to pre-qualify some vendors, you can use vendor pre-qualification or vendor business process to create the vendors in the application. If let's say that you have already have vendors, then you can in your ERP we can integrate and we can bring all the vendors created from the ERP to the Unifier, right? So when you see, so this is the form looks like when you are filling a vendor detail. So this will be vendor ID, vendor name, vendor address, all these things will be tracked here. So we can also add uh, any additional fields you might require for this particular vendor. We can add a list of contacts that you might have for this particular vendor, right? So and also if there are any attachments that are related, also we can add them in the attachments tab, right? So we can have all the vendors listed here, since you might be using the same vendor for multiple projects. So this is a vendor, is a company level business process, like I was telling. So Oracle Unifier automates all your project controls process. How it does it? So it does it based on forms and workflows. I can the form is nothing but the data what you want to collect to process that uh, particular process, right? So here for a vendor, I require vendor ID, vendor name is mandatory, so I can keep some of the fields mandatory, and vendor address, right? And also what is the if it is e-bidding, bidding information. If they have anything, we can add it here in certificate of insurance, right? Business classification, or you can add vendor type also, here, right? So all these things, so you can add vendor types such as contractor, design consultant, engineer, others. So all these things we can add it here. And also the discipline, so I can add any discipline. If the vendor belongs to any specific discipline, I can add the discipline here. So this is a form that we need to input our data into, and this will be, once I submit this will be sent through a workflow, and we need to get once the workflow is approved, the vendor record will be created in Unifier. So it completely depends on your forms and workflows, right? Your business process is nothing but your forms and workflows. And also when I go to my task, I can see if there are any pending tasks for me. I can see all the pending tasks. If there are any notification, I can see all the notifications here, right? So all these things is at the company level. Okay, now let me go to the project level, right? So this is my project level process, project level workshop. So I can add images, I can add some dashboards here, right? So here, if you see, all the business process are listed on the left side pane, where the first I will discuss what are the processes that are available, then we will see one of the process how it works. So here in cost manager, I have cash flow, cost sheet, and value sheet, as well as the funding sheet. Okay, then in budget we have initial budget changes, budget transfer. In purchasing we have purchase orders as well as contracts, and in change management we have PO amendments and change orders. Then we have the payments, where you have the invoices, as well as payment application, payments, and your project delivery. So in project delivery, we have action items, minutes of meeting, risk issues, monthly updates, and when you go to design review, submittal, transmittals, right? So and you have document management, where you can have complete document management here in Unifier, where you can create different folder structures, as well as we have auto view 3D, where you can view your 3D drawings directly from here, and it supports nearly 400 file types. You don't require your native applications to open the files from Unifier. So when you have auto view 3D, you can directly view them in auto view 3D, and you can also put your comments, annotations, all these things you can do in using Unifier. Then your schedule sheet. A schedule sheet is where, when you integrate it with the Primavera P6, you will get your schedule sheet. Now, firstly, let me open a couple of project delivery related process. Let me show how these fields look like, right? So when I go to a design review, let me show how the forms look like here in design reviews. So in design reviews, so what are the things that are required? So the title, reference ID, summary, material shipped. So these are the different designs that are required for the design reviews. Then when I go to submittals, I will have different forms. So every business process, it has their own forms. What is submittal title, whether submittal are released or not, suffix, prefix, right? So if it is related to any package, you can track the package from here, right? And also the contact details, what is the latest revision of the submittals, and how we can link it to our P6 activity. Okay, so whatever the process, the project delivery process I go to, I will have different forms related to that particular process, and routed to different people that are related to different people. So when I go to action items, I can assign this to different people, right? So now we will directly go to our cost controls from Unifier. Okay, so first I was talking about cost breakdown structure. So when I so the important thing is the cost breakdown structure should be flexible, where it should able to give you flexibility to define your cost codes based on your how you group your cost in your company, right? So you have these are the cost codes, these are the cost items that you might have, right? So at our site preparation, site basic site materials, or right, all these things might be different cost codes more what you might have. So this is a cost breakdown structure what you will have. And if you have any ERP, we can integrate it so that you can get your cost code or design your cost breakdown structure based on your ERP system. Okay, then in this cost sheet, you can track all the initial budget revisions. We'll come to this in a bit. Once we see other process, we'll come back to the cost sheet. So, right. So when I go to my initial budget, I have created a budget for this is first budget. So I can create my budget here. Uh, you this is already created against the line items what I have here, right? So uh, so I have created some of the budget here, and let me show you, and I will create a budget change and show you how it tracks the changes that happen in for the budget. Okay, let us go back to the cost sheet. Let us see for one of the cost code. So now here there is a budget of 100. So the revised budget, the current revised budget is $100,000. So I want to do some budget changes where I want to increase the cost from 100,000 to 120,000. So when I create a budget change, right? So if I have any contact reference, I can use it. So I can see whether it is increase or decrease. I am increasing the budget, and here it shows me what is my original budget, what is prior to changes, what is my current budget, what are the pending changes. When I go to the line item, from here I can select I can select the cost code that is related to this budget. So let me select this cost code, as well as I need to put in some small description which is mandatory to know why we are doing this budget change. This budget is based on our categories, as well as we can also select some work packages. So let me put the quantity as 1 and unit of measurement each. So now I am putting 20,000, right? I am doing my budget change here. So if I want to link this budget change to any of the activity, I can link this activity, this from to the activity that I am getting from P6, right? So we have integrated solution, unifier and P6. We can integrate the solution and we can link this process to P6 as well. Okay, now save, send, submit. Okay, so I can if they are predefined, it will be available from here. If they are not predefined, I cannot choose, or you don't need to choose at all. For some of the process we can automate this, and it will be directly available to whom it will be sent to, right? Now I have sent this budget, so it will be waiting for the person's tasks in their project task list, so that they can approve. These are the pending tasks that need to be approved for me, right? So now I have created a budget change. When I go back to my cost sheet and refresh it, yeah. So here, pending budget revisions is available here. So I can see it. So I see it from here. So how what is happening? So this is the base. This is the one which we have created now. BC02 is the budget change what we have created. It will list all the things, all the changes that is happening. So just now we have created this. So previously there are some other changes that are there against this particular cost code, and this is the budget BC02 is the one what we have created for the 20,000. So it will track all the changes. So it has pending budget revisions. So once I approve it, it will be transferred to the approved and it will affect my revised budget, right? So now there are no POs against this particular cost code. Now let me go and create a purchase order that is more than the current that is more than the budget and see what happens. Okay, right. So I need to input PO number, which is I can input the PO number, effective date, and who I need to select who is the vendor, right? I can select the vendor, select. So based on the vendor, all the details will be populated automatically. I can select a P6 activity also here. Then when I go to my line items, right, I need to add the specific cost code, agreements, and spend category one each. Then I will be inputting the value. Let's say I am inputting, okay, so 100,001. So I have inputted more than my budgeted value, right? Now I am saving it. When I try to send this to approval, right, then it will throw an error that there is your budget is insufficient. So you have a trigger value. Why it has triggered? Because your budget is only 100,000, but your current value is 100,100, right? So because of this, it will not allow me to create the PO. Okay, so I need to either raise the budget change or I need to reduce my PO value. So this is how you get your control on your project cost. Okay, so all the rules are built in and everyone has the same access, so only people with access can create the POs, and even though they have access, they will not be able to create more than the budget. If they want to change any budget, they need to raise the budget changes. Once they raise the budget changes, not everyone can approve it. It need to go through the approved proper workflow that need to be happen in the that need to happen, right? So so let's say that you want to create a PO. So I know that some of the POs in construction, they will have hundreds of line items, right? So for that case, you can export the excel template and create all your purchase related line items here, and then you can import them back, simply import them back into the application and create the POs as well as budgets. For everything, there is an Excel export import templates available in the application, right? So this is how we control our cost. And so now I have created a PO. That PO is already available. Then I can go to that PO and see what are the line items that are there in that PO, and right, and if there are any pending amendments against that PO, I can see. Okay, then when I see the approved amendments, I can see how much of the PO amendments are approved, and if there are any invoices also, I can see invoices from here, or I can create invoices directly from this page itself. Okay, so 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 all the related changes, the original, so you can see the original amount of the PO, what is the amendments, pending amendments, what is the changed amendments, right? So we can also add what is the current PO value and see what is the total PO cost, right? So we can do your budgets, initial budget changes, transfers, your purchase orders, then your contracts, your PO amendments, and also so I can when I go to a PO amendment, when I click create, uh, so I need to select the PO that I want to do the amendment against, right? So when I select the PO, all the PO details, vendor details, everything will be listed here. I can input the detail, and I can see I can send it for the approval, and I can also, right. Let me go and show the line item. So add, I can select the existing line item and either add or reduce the quantity or the cost from this particular line item. So PO amendments, also the change of the project controls, we can track from here, right? So now we have seen how to create this, how to do this. Now when I go back to my cost sheet, this is where you can have your complete visibility into your project financial health, right? You have your initial budget revisions, budget changes, then your approved POs, pending POs, approved amendments, pending amendments, and also the contracts, purchase orders. All these things you can track from here. And when you click on any one of these, you can also see from where these values are coming from, right? It gives you detailed drill down into all your financial stakeholders. When a project manager wants to see what is the financial health of the project, they can simply come here. What is the variance they can track, and also you can have uh, estimation net completion, estimated to complete, all these things, as well as your end value sheets, and also your cash flow sheets, what we have seen in the presentation. Similarly, we can develop. And when we integrate, the schedule sheet also will come from P6 directly to here. So you can have your P6 coming from your schedule sheet from here, right? All these things we can do it from here. So when a project engineer comes every day, he just log into one application, one integrated project control application, and do all project related cost control solution from here. Okay. So with this, I conclude my presentation today.